Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Culture City Board Chairman, NBA Hall of Famer, and one of the top 75 players of all time, the Human Highlight Film. Please welcome Dominique Wilkins.
Dominique Wilkins, Dominique Wilkins, Dominique Wilkins,
Hey, how everybody doing tonight?
He's the man.
How everybody doing tonight? Good, great. First of all, I want to say something real quick. I know Channing, said roll tide, right? How about them dogs? I know I'm in Alabama, I understand. But, I want to thank Channing for being here, and hopefully he will consider being a part of this wonderful family of Culture City, because we do special things, and it really starts with two people who I love dearly like my family. And I always have to give them praise, because without them, we would not be here. Julian and Michelle Maha is the two most giving people that I've ever met. They're the most giving people I've ever met, and they've changed my life. And I want to say to both of you guys, I love y'all, and I appreciate everything you guys done to make me understand how to deal with my own kids who are dealing with special needs, because we know how important it is for us to support a great cause like this when a lot of times it's forgotten and people don't want to deal with it because it's too difficult. But we have to be the ones to stand on the wall for people who are dealing with these needs, because their lives matter too. And so if we can continue to do that, come together as a community, as a city, as a country, we can do a lot of good. And that's our mission. And so to Julian and your wonderful wife, I love you guys, and I appreciate everything you do. And I also want to thank some of our new board members, Simu, wonderful actor, new Marvel Comics superhero, and Tiny. Thank you for being a part of our board. We have such a wonderful, diverse board that you can't put in words how special it is and what we do. And also like to thank one of my closest friends too, the big fella here, Andrew Yang. My guy, stand up, Andrew. I actually supported him in the presidential race. That's a great man right there. So before I present this next award, I just want to tell you how thankful I am that I'm able to be a part of such a great organization like Culture City. And I know we got a long road to go, and it's be a long, hard fight, but it's a road that I'm willing to travel. And I can't tell you how special it is for me to have a newfound passion that gives me the same passion I had in basketball. So giving back is now in my life my biggest component. So I just want to thank all of you, and you guys give yourself a round of applause, because you're the reason why we're here as well. So with this next award that we're going to give right now, this city was the first city to be certified not only by the police but by the mayor and the city, and City Hall, to be the first sensory inclusive mobile sensory vehicle in the country. They were the first, and that was the city of Helena, Alabama. They have done so many special things in helping people help themselves, and it really proves how important our mission is, how we give back, how we continue to educate people and train people on how to deal with people dealing with special needs. They were the first. And I just want to say I'm so thankful for them, and they're represented very well here tonight by the mayor and the police chief there in Helena. So I would like to bring both of them out to get their award. So Helena, Alabama, come on out.
Drive through Talladega on a weekend in October.
So what we're saying is we went from the best looking man in this room to now the tallest man in the room to me. Not really sure how this worked out, but Julian, next time you got to plan a little bit better for me. Help me out here. So I am actually the mayor, Brian Puckett of Helena. So we're a suburb of Birmingham. We're a small community of 22,000, but we're a community. So when I took office about 2 years ago, my first challenge was to hire a new police chief. And when I hired that person, it was to have community policing. That was the big thing 2 years ago, but it turned out to be a lot more. So within 3 months of me being in office, Chief Brad Flynn came to me with a little black bag. He sat in my office and said, "Hey, hear me out on this." And he started talking to me about Culture City. He told me how it was affecting law enforcement, how they were able to help those out there in the community. And we go back to that community. Because ultimately, when you think about community, each one of us have a separate definition of community. But for me, it's about everybody feeling welcome, everybody feeling like they truly have a place to belong. So when Culture City came along, it was an opportunity not only to have our first responders, our police department and our fire department, to be able to come in, get the training, have the tools and resources within the bags that are always in their vehicles, but we wanted to take it a little bit further. If it's so easy for the police officers and the firefighters to do this training, to be able to help everyone feel included, everyone welcome, well, why not the rest of the municipal workers? Why not the administration, Parks and Recreation, Public Works? Think about it. All of these people within a city come in touch with the public. No matter what you're coming up against, you know that always you will have someone who needs a help. So we got on board, Julian and his team, and Michelle. Everybody created this new program for not just focused on law enforcement, but the municipal workers. So how do we actually engage and make sure our employees engage with anyone, everyone they come in contact with? And so we got the training built, and then all of the entire staff of the city of Helena took the training and was aware of everything of what Culture City truly is and how they can help people to feel welcome. So we put bags everywhere, we put signage everywhere, and then a year ago, I think pretty much this weekend, I was sitting back there with Chief Flynn at another table here at the Culture Ball last year, and I said, we're all in. We need a trailer. What can we do to get this going? So within December, 1st of December, we had a trailer. It was the first sensory trailer for a municipality. So at the time, I believe it was Culture City had one trailer, and we really leaned into Julian, Michelle, to be able to help us build that trailer. And when it was all said and done, we have a vehicle and an apparatus to be able to get out there in the community, to be able to show people that we truly care about them and who they are, no matter what invisible disease they have. So on behalf of the city of Helena, I challenge each of my mayor friends down here to let's continue growing this. So it's one of those things that it's not just a passion, it's a challenge now for us. It's a challenge to us to be able to employ and be able to give everyone the tools and the wherewithal to be able to truly help one another. So with that, I do want to bring up Chief Brad Flynn to let him speak a couple words.
How did I get here? Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Dominique. Thank you, Julian. When you're a parent of a sensory needs child, you immediately want to find a way to make their life better. When my son was born 12 years ago, my wife, Melanie, and I did just that. And we went through everything that we could possibly do to make his life better, whether it be therapy, whether it be doctor visits, but I didn't feel like I was doing anything on a scale bigger than my son because I wanted to affect his life in the world that we were growing up in. So almost 2 years ago, I get a phone call from a mutual friend of Julian and mine saying, this doctor would like to come talk to you about the sensory program. I said, sure, that piqued my interest a little bit. So Julian came in 5 minutes. And those of you who know Julian, once he gives you the Kool-Aid, you're done. Don't even think about not getting on board with him. He had me. I said, where do I sign up? So thanks to the mayor, we got everybody on board. And it was a great initiative. We rolled everything out. And in less than a week, we saw the fruits of what Culture City is about, especially when we do the first responder training. We had a call for service, a 911 call to an individual that was in a vehicle that in the middle of an intersection that was having a sensory overload. And he was being verbally combative. Obviously, he was in distress and he needed help. Our officers responded. The first officer there immediately remembered the Culture City training, was able to effectively de-escalate that situation, calm him, reassure him, to let him know that we were there to help him. And after an hour, that gentleman voluntarily got into the ambulance. But before he did that, he went up and gave my officer a hug and said, "Thank you for saving my life." That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And it really hit home later that night when we found out that this gentleman's wife and my wife were mutual friends. And of course, the chief always gets called for the bad stuff, but nobody had bothered to call and tell me, hey, you know that training that you advocated a week ago? We just used it to save a life. So we find out that this individual, his wife called and wanted to thank me and said that this happens to her son, or her husband from time to time. And as a result, law enforcement gets involved. And the last time that law enforcement was involved, there were guns pointed at her husband, and she was afraid they were going to kill him. That didn't happen in Helena. That didn't happen here because of Culture City. I'm very proud to be a liaison with Culture City, giving my input as a law enforcement veteran to build our first responder program. At this point, we have over 65 law enforcement agencies across the country on board with Culture City, and that number is growing every month. And that's something I'm very proud of. You saw on the video, 28 lives saved. That's in a year, 1 year. 28 lives saved as a result of this program. So, Julian, Michelle, behalf of my son Colin, Abram, Ron and Jen, for Sammy, Sean, everyone else that has a family member or a loved one with a sensory need, know that your first responders are working hard to make your world more safe, more inclusive, and welcoming, and we have just begun. We've got a lot of work to do. Thank you.